Hope you are all having a wonderful EdCamp Global Classrooms and that you are learning lots and making lots of connections. This session is going to be about connecting without ever meeting the people we're working with. We're going to collaborate to make an epic EdCamp Global Classrooms movie. And this is going to happen over 2 sessions. So there's a session now and there's a session later on today. And between those 2 sessions, we are going to assemble an epic movie, and we're going to see how many people have joined in and shared their learning from EdCamp Global Classrooms 2016. So let's get started. I'm going to start by bringing up a presentation where we'll start off today. And it's just hanging just a minute. Okay, so let me share my screen with you to share this presentation. Oh, this is not going as smoothly as it could. There it is. Okay, so here we are. Let's make a movie. So we're going to go through this movie presentation, and it's going to describe for us how we can make a movie together without ever meeting in person, without ever even speaking in real time. So here's the premise for today. We know that students should be using the technology at their disposal to create stuff, to collaborate, to converse with each other and communicate and to connect. And of course, there's that critical thinking piece in there that they should be doing too that we'll address a little bit less today. And we want them to do that. And then there's this big kind of, well, how? And we often give up on that because we're not sure about the how. So instead of just talking about getting kids to create, collaborate, converse, and connect, let's do it. Let's do it today. And instead of talking about what we will do with our students, let's do it ourselves. We're going to make a movie together. And everybody's going to be responsible for one little puzzle piece. So each participant in this Hangout and in the next Hangout, and anybody who wants to join in along the way, is welcome to create one piece, and we'll see how big the puzzle gets. We are going to create this in Google Slides. Each person is going to add one slide to a Google Slides presentation. And to give us a little bit of cohesiveness in our final movie, we would like each person to have one photo that represents your EdCamp Global Classroom experience, a short bit of descriptive text about the photo or about your experience, something about your location, and your Twitter handle or your Google Plus handle or even your class website. So a few words, because this is going to be a public movie. If you don't have permission for your photo to go online, then you should probably choose a representative photo, a photo that's not of you, because this picture is going to be part of a movie that's going to be on YouTube. Your location does not need to be specific. So you can limit yourself to the country or to the state where you are, or a general location. You don't have to get right down to your town, especially if you are under the age of 18. If you are participating with your class, you have a choice. You can take a picture of the whole class and make one slide with one location and your shared participation. Or you are also welcome to work in small groups and create a few, to work in pairs, or even each do this individually. So it's open to as many people who want to participate, and you can participate in whatever works best for your group. If you are participating on Twitter uh, or on Google+, if you have a class site, then go ahead and use that. If you don't have a class Twitter or Google+, then you might choose instead to use your class website or a class blog. And once everybody has created their slides, we are going to create the movie. Now, before we launch into how this is all going to happen, I am going to do a little bit of a tutorial on how to create something in slides. So if you don't know Google Slides, that's not a problem. You'll have a chance to figure that out. If you do know Google Slides, well, you can listen along. It's not going to be a very long tutorial. One thing that I think is really fantastic this year as part of the EdCamp classroom is the use of the Google Doc. And this is linked right from the schedule. So over here on the schedule, if you go to the 12 o'clock time frame and go to the bottom of the list where the last presentation, and you click on the Google Docs notes, you will come to this Google Docs page. And this Google Docs page, in the notes, I am going to paste in a link. And this is a link to a Google form. And what I would really love is that if everybody who's participating fills in this Google form. And the reason for that is, well, there are multiple reasons. One, because if there is a problem with your slide and I need to get back to you to fix it to make sure it can be included, I would love to have your email address. But really important for our slideshow that we are going to create, we want to be able to say how many participants and how many countries they were from. And so if you can click on that form and go ahead and fill it in, then we'll have a really good idea about who's participating, and I'll be able to make sure that everybody gets included. And we have some nice slides saying, hey, people in so many different countries worked on this, and that's kind of cool. And I'm pretty sure we could say there will be at least 2 countries because I'm in Canada right now, and I think it's probably a pretty good bet that at least one of the people who's participating is going to be somewhere in the United States. So I will let you do that, and I'm going to return to our presentation. And I'm going to open up a new slides document. Now this one, and I will give you the link eventually, but this one is going to be the basis for our movie. And so this will be the start of our movie. We are making an epic EdCampGlobal Classrooms collaborative movie. And the instructions that I gave you earlier are on this slide. This second slide reminds you to insert a photo of your EdCampGlobal classroom experience, a short descriptive text about your photo, and include your location, Twitter, or Google+ handle. So let's talk about how we'll do that. The first thing that we'll want to do is go to the bottom of the page on the left. So in this list of slides, I'm going to click at the very bottom, and then I'm going to click plus. And that plus is going to insert a new slide for me. If I want to look at the layouts, I can click on the down arrow and choose one with a different layout, but I really like this one with just the title text. And so I am going to click in here to add a title, and my title might be where I type my description. So, wow, we are learning so much, or we connected with, or I connected with someone from, and who knows where you connected someone. Using the corner dot, I can reshape how the text lines up and put it down one side or make it longer. I can also use my features at the top to change the size. Now, this I can still read on my screen, but remember that the slide is going to be part of a video, and the video goes by pretty fast. So don't make your text too small. Nobody will be able to read it on your slide. Don't make your text too long, because when I watch a video, I don't mind reading a little bit, but when I watch a video, I probably don't watch for the experience of reading a whole long paragraph. When I want to insert a insert a picture, I'm going to go up to the Insert menu. And yes, there's a button down here as well, but Insert an Image. And here I'm going to get a choice. I can insert, normally I would come here first. So I'll do that again so nobody's confused. Insert an image. I can upload an image from my computer. I can either go find it on my desktop and drag it here, or I can click and go and choose an image. I can take a snapshot with my webcam. I can go to Google Drive, and if I have a picture on Google Drive, I can use that. If you don't have a picture, you can use search. And the Google search feature is going to bring up pictures that you are allowed to use. The results shown are labeled for commercial reuse with modification, so you'll be allowed to use these. So if I wanted to do something that was amazed and search, this is going to bring up pictures of people who are amazed. Whoa, this person is amazed. I could even look at any type and I could change it to clip art. Let me choose this amazed person because I think that looks great for wow. So I'm going to put that person in my slideshow, and it takes just a minute, and wow. So I can insert the photo. I can do lots of things with this. If I go to the corner, I can resize it to make it fit where I want it to fit. If I use the knob at the top, I can rotate it. So maybe I like it on a little bit of a slant. I can also use the crop. And crop, by just clicking on the crop tool, will allow me to grab these black lines and cut off part of the photo in case I don't want the whole thing. The other neat hidden crop tool is in this drop-down arrow. In the drop-down arrow, I can choose to crop to a shape. So I can choose to crop to an explosion shape. And I can move that around to make sure that I get the right piece of the picture. And hit enter. And now I have this shape. And I can't really see it because I can't see the line. So I'm going to click on it, click on my line weight, and make the line a little bit thicker. I could even change the color of the line to match the person's shirt. So now I have this really interesting looking picture that I can include on my page. If I want to change the background, I can go up to Slide, Change Background, and choose the background. And so I can choose a background that I like. And here we go. The problem with this is that my picture didn't quite fill this explosion, but I'm going to leave it like this for now. So this is how I can use slides to create an interesting looking slide. If I want to add extra text, for example, I want to include my Twitter handle, I can insert text or use the button here. They do the same thing. Drag a box and add my Twitter handle. I can make it bigger so that nobody misses it. I can even change the font. What I'm going to do now is show you what to do if you're not working on a laptop or a Chromebook. In my school district, we work with one-to-one iPads, and the iPad app for slides is a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is get into this same presentation on my iPad, and it's going to take just a minute for me to get switched over to where I need to be. And I apologize for the delay. So I am adjusting my screen sharing here, but I'm adjusting my screen sharing to now include my iPad screen. And it's taking just a minute to pick up the iPad as I switch it over. Okay, looks like we're back up and running and we have people in the Hangout, so that's excellent. I apologize for those technical difficulties. And it's looking to me like I'm going to okay, so I've killed the iPad because that seems to be causing everything to freeze, and we will go a little low tech. So instead of sharing my screen with you, I'll just give you a little bit of an overview on the iPad. So we'll try and do this so that there's not too much glare. Let me get this set up in a way that maybe you can see. So this is my iPad screen, and you will see that I can still go to the bottom of the screen. And I can, at the very bottom of the screen, there is this piece right here. It is the little slide with the plus. And the little slide with the plus is going to let us add a page. And I can choose my page, the same one I had before, with the title only. And once I have this page with the title only, I can double tap in here and add my title. If I want on this page to add more stuff, there's this handy dandy plus symbol at the top of the page. And if I tap on the plus, then I'm going to see a menu. So let's just get that plus. And this menu, you can see, has text, images, shapes, lines, and tables. And so if I tap on the text, I can add another text box. If I tap on the images, I get a really important choice. I get images from photos, so I can take an image that's already on my iPad, or I can take an image from the camera. And that's really cool because an image from the camera means I can kind of take a selfie, and I can take it directly into the slideshow if I want to. If I want to adjust text, so I've added some text in on this one. If I want to change it up, I have bold, italic, and underline. But in this A with the 3 lines, I've got all kinds of tools for changing the size and the color. And so there's lots of ways you can get in there and play. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share a different screen. And so I'm going to, I'm going to share it back to the screen with the presentation on it. And you'll see what happens. You'll see what happens when this screen is looking at the slide I just created. And now I am going to tap on that plus and that image from camera that I just showed you. And I'm going to be able to use the camera to take a selfie picture. And so I'll line myself up, make sure that I'm happy with the way it looks. And I have inserted the picture. And so you'll see on this screen, it takes a minute for it to come up, but we are all going to be able to be working on our own devices, putting things into this slideshow. So there's my picture, and on my iPad I can adjust the size and move it around, and we will all see it on the computer. Switching back just briefly, we're going to come back here, and if you're working on an iPad and you really like the idea of having that picture that was a shape, never fear, you have that option too. The crop tool is up here. It's that funny square with the bits that stick out. And once I'm in the crop tool, there's another shape tool up here. So it's the gray one with the white shape in the middle. And that will let me choose the shape that I want. And I'm sorry that you can't see it better, but I can choose the shape that I want, and I can crop to that shape. And so I can get the result that I'm looking for. So there we go, and my shape sort of cut off the corners a little bit because that was what I wanted. If I want to make those lines thicker like I did on the other one, up the top you still have lines and you can still change the line thickness. So that's how we work in slides, whether you're working on a computer or you're working on your iPad. So if I come back to my other presentation now, and I'll share that with you again, there are a few more details that I'd like to mention. So the first one is converse. This is really important. Converse, because we're here to work together. And we're not really collaborating if we all work in isolation and never check out what the other people are doing. So once you've created your slide, view the other slides, scroll up and down, and then you can use comments to make suggestions like sizes and colors, and gee, that's hard to read, or wow, I really think that's neat or effective. The comments are up here. If you are on the computer, you're going to click comment and comment, and you can type a comment about this slide. If you are working on your iPad, you will not have access to the comments. So what I suggest for the iPad is you work in the speaker notes. And so don't forget to check speaker notes in case somebody from an iPad has a comment for you. In order to access the speaker notes on your iPad, so if you're on an iPad and you want to do this, up in the top corner are the 3 dots. These 3 dots are that little treasure trove on the iPad of extra things. And within the 3 dots, the first choice is Show Speaker Notes. And now you can see at the bottom of my page, I have speaker notes, and I can give that person some comments. So if you're working on an iPad, you're not left out of the conversation. And really make sure that you are conversing. Don't forget, if somebody writes a comment for you, respond. Connect. People are going to be putting their Twitter and Google Plus handles on here. They're going to be putting their class websites and blogs on here. Don't forget to grab a few of those, copy them, write them down so that you can make connections and maybe work again with some of your collaborators. Wouldn't it be neat to make one of these videos with your class and another class? And now, just before I talk about how it becomes a movie, I want to remind you that when we are working in a collaborative slide document, we are all going to be able to edit everything. So you need to practice good digital citizenship. And good digital citizenship means you're not going to go and make changes on somebody else's slide without them giving you permission. So you can make comments and suggestions, but you don't touch their work, and you certainly don't delete a slide that belongs to somebody else. That being said, we know that some people are beginners and it's their first time and accidents happen. And the great thing about Google Slides is that we can usually undo anything that happens. But if that happens to you, be sure to apologize, because that's part of being a good digital citizen too. So now we're going to look just really quickly at how this becomes a movie. And once I've shown you how it becomes a movie, I'll give you the link to get in and be able to start creating your slide. So how does this become a movie? This becomes a movie by being converted into JPEG format. So what I'm going to want to do is take each of these slides and turn them into a picture. And there's a couple of ways to do that. The easiest, fastest way, if you are on a computer, is in File, Download as, a PowerPoint. And the reason I'm doing it that way is that PowerPoint will let me then save all the slides as pictures in one step. If I download as JPEG right here in Slides, I will get one slide at a time. So I can do that. I can download one slide at a time and turn them into pictures. The other option is on an iPad. I can show the slides full screen and I can screen capture each image. They'll all end up in my photos. So that's step one. I need to make a photo out of each slide. Then I'm going to go to YouTube and upload to create a slideshow. So I'll go to YouTube. And upon arriving at YouTube, are we going? Upon arriving at YouTube, I have an option right up here at the top that says upload. I come to the upload screen and I could upload a video here, but over here on the side, I have options that will let me create videos and create photo slideshows. And so I create a photo slideshow and I will go and find photos, and I can go and look at photos that already exist on my Google Drive, or I can upload photos and I can go and find photos from my computer. So if I go find, get a beach ball again. So let's Hangout is still going this time and not going to. I'm going to not stress out this connection that seems to not be working too well today. And so I won't take you through all the steps, but have uploaded your photos. You'll have a chance to drag and drop to rearrange the order. You will have a chance to choose in the options how long you want each slide to play for. Do you want each slide for a long time or a short time? Would you like the camera to pan around your image or just hold it still? And you'll have the option to insert music as a soundtrack behind it. And so that's a little bit about what's going to be happening behind the scenes, but that you don't have to worry about because that's the part I'll take care of once all the sessions are over. And once all the movie is uploaded and ready, I will tweet out the link and share it. I'll also put it back in that epic movie Google Doc that we've been using for some of our notes. So, just so that you can follow along and see where I'm going here, this is the URL or address for the movie that I was just back. This I'm going to go into the Google. I'm going to place the link there as well, so you can just click on it and that will be even faster. And so I'll paste this in and I will get to all these questions. I will talk while you're busy creating. So here we go. We're going to put in the link to the shared slides. Whoa, and it's very big. I will maybe make it a little bit smaller. And so there you go. You can head on in there. And in this movie, I'm going to take out the slides that I created as samples. You can see that I made one with a selfie of myself. And I said, loving EdCamp Global Classroom, learning from others is awesome. And I included my location and my Twitter handle and my Google Plus handle. But I also included another one that isn't of me. And so I just took a picture and I said, wow, EdCamp Global Classrooms rocks. and I included all the same information. And I think it's important to note, as part of digital citizenship, this picture happens to be a picture that I own. It's a picture of my son. And so if you are going to use pictures, do make sure that you have permission to use them. And so you may go ahead and click on this link in the Google Doc. You may also, if you wish, use this one to write down, and I'll just make it full screen. And so you can get into the document, create your own slide, start creating, start making, and you can listen along. I'll be answering questions. And if you have any questions, do feel free to drop them in that shared Google Doc, and I will make sure that I answer them. And I'm just checking. I do see a few people getting in here already. I see the anonymous orangutan has already started creating. So go ahead, use that plus button, add your slide, and let's see what awesome contribution you can make to our shared movie. All right, so I will take off the screen sharing while I answer questions. So one of the questions is, what is the link for the shared presentation you're working on? That's taken care of. I've given that to you. To leave comments on the presentation that are only visible to people who are online in the document at the same time. Yes. When you go into our presentation, we're not talking about a chat. We're talking about comments. So the comments will actually be visible to everybody who accesses this presentation. They will not be visible anymore once I make a movie. When I make the movie, it will only take what's on the slide. But the comments will be visible to anybody who joins the slide presentation. I will be sharing the information in the other session, so you might see that information at other times. Comments do carry over. It's not a chat. It's not a live. It's more of a collaborative tool that is asynchronous. And a list of the good digital citizenship tips for working collaboratively on slides. So I don't have a list, but the ones that I mentioned were: don't change things that don't belong to you unless you have specific permission from the owner. And be polite in your comments. Don't be mean or abrupt. Do try and be collaborative in the way that you connect. And if something happens and you find yourself being more abrupt than you meant to, or if a mistake happens and you do have a problem and change somebody's work, then apologize for it. Also, make sure that you're using images that you are allowed to use, not images that somebody else has said are their own. And I'm looking now, and I definitely see the slides starting to come together. I see at least 3 people creating slides. Definitely, if you are watching as a class, consider what you prefer. There's the possibility of everybody making one, or certainly you could split into 4 groups and each make a slide. You could have each student create one. The video will expand in length to include as many slides as we need, and it will all work out. One tip: if you are working on iPads, and I don't know if anybody is, but if you're working on an iPad, it's not possible to change your background. It is possible to make a big rectangle of color and send it to the back. So if anybody needs to know how to do that, I'm going to leave you working, but I'll maybe share my screen, and if you're not needing the iPad, then that's fine. And if you are really interested in getting into making the background, then I can show you. So on my iPad, this is that first screen that I already had. Oh, first screen that I already had, and it's white in the background. And so if I wanted a color, in my plus at the top, one of my options is shape. And I can choose the shape that I want. So I might choose the square shape. So let me see if I can make the shape. So I'll choose that very first shape, the square shape. And when the shape comes in, I will make it the full size of the slide using the corners. Now I've got a problem because it's now covered all my text. If I tap once on the square, I will get a context menu. And the last choice at the end is send to the back. So I send it to the back, it's now behind my text. And I can go up into the paint bucket at the top. And in the paint bucket at the top, I can choose whatever color I like. And it will put the color in behind my words. So that's how, if you are working on an iPad, you can still manage to change a background color if that's something that you would want to do. I will be protecting the slides between the presentations. I will probably be doing that by doing a copy of the document, and I will simply keep a copy of the document and then keep it open. And the reason I want to keep it open is some people won't be able to attend either session. And so I really want to make it possible for anybody between the two sessions to also make a slide and contribute to our movie. So I will give them access to this document, but it will be a copy. And so if anything happens, we do have the revision history, but we also have a clean copy of everything that we don't even need to go into the revision history. So that's just a precaution that I'll take, since we are looking at opening it up to all of Twitter, basically. Anybody who's following the EdCamp Global 16, EdCamp Global Classrooms 2016 hashtags will be able to see the link, will be able to get in, and we don't have that level of discussion and trust that we've had maybe in this class. So I'm looking, I see that there are people in here. I see some words. I see one from Ontario, the Greater Toronto area. So hello from Quebec. So right next door, we're neighbors. And I'm really interested to read where some of the others are from. I can see that there's a Twitter handle coming in here. Oh, look, I see the behind the scenes on Blab, so I can see that the organizing committee at headquarters and Cassie in her class are including a little bit of information, so we can see that they were involved too. And I think it's really cool that we have classrooms involved, we have teachers involved. It's amazing. Now, do note that if you include links, they will not be clickable in the final movie, although I will endeavor to add a little link on top. So if you leave that there, that's great, and I will try and add that to the movie. It just won't be clickable on your slide necessarily. Oh, loving the look of a classroom. That's awesome, getting to see the classroom ready with all the learning. And hi, Ann in Texas. And there are no more questions at the moment. And I don't see any in the Q&A. Oh, there are some questions in the Q&A. Okay, great. So, with apologies, Missy, who had asked at one point if we should be doing this at the same time. I got kerfuffled and lost my Q&A when I restarted. And no, I did show first and then opened it up. And definitely, Leanne, we'll leave this available that your students can come back and create slides. I'm really happy they were enjoying this. So, oh, awesome, Peggy. I love that you included the picture of a tweet. That's fabulous. And oh, I just love that classroom. Oh, I'm not so good on my state abbreviations. I think VA is Virginia. I think. So we have a classroom picture from Missy Ferris in Falls Church, Virginia. And oh, great, we have a new slide being created as we speak, a brand new one just starting, it looks like. Oh, no, that's the EdCamp is awesome one. Yes, looking forward, EdCamp is awesome. Looking forward to seeing what you're going to add, and don't forget to tell us where you're from. And we're pretty much going to wrap up at this point. You can feel free to continue to add. I will ask you, if you're still here and you haven't done it yet, to please go to the Google Doc and click on the form. I am collecting a little bit of data to know how many countries have participated, whether we were working with teachers or students. And so if you possibly can, please do go into the doc, and I'll share that and show people in case they don't know where. So if you start at the schedule and you start in the 12 o'clock block and scroll to the bottom, this session's the last one, and there's the Google Doc notes. And if you click on those Google Doc notes, you'll come to this doc that has information, the link to the slides and to questions. Are we allowed to include more than one image? Absolutely, go right ahead, as many as you want that don't that we can still see what's going on your slide. There's also this link here to a Google form, and this form is one that I'd really love if you filled in, because I'm collecting information so that I know how many teachers, how many students, how many countries were involved, and also if I have to contact you later to adjust. Certainly, as if you're not comfortable sharing your email address, you don't have to, but feel free to share all or part of that as well. So thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm really, really excited about it. I'm looking forward to what we are creating. I'm loving the look of this slideshow and the way things are coming together. I can already see, if I come back over here, I can see that we have our starter slides, but we have Texas and Greater Toronto Area and another Greater Toronto Area, which is awesome. And I love the use of comments for these classes who are connecting, even though they're close to each other. They don't know each other, so that's a fantastic kind of connection to make. We have behind the scenes and tweets. We have a great picture of a classroom. This is an awesome start, and I'm really looking forward to the kind of movie that we can make. And don't forget to check the EdCamp Global Classroom's Twitter stream. I will tweet out the link very soon after the session this evening, and let you know that the movie's ready for you to go and watch and share with your students and share with your friends. So thank you very much, and maybe we'll connect again in another session. Bye.